We talk about artificial intelligence. Which are going to be, in the future, the biggest fact or event supporting the development of artificial intelligence?
Actually, the world today is in a very right boiling pot for actually emerging, for the emerging artificial intelligence industry today. So if you really look at it, what is happening in the world today? On the one hand, we have got a paucity of resources. We have a paucity for very highly skilled people. And on the other, we have a huge technology upswing that is happening. We are starting to get new technologies, faster technologies, more optimum technologies. So a marriage of these two is what is actually going to help in creating digital disruptions in different fields. Artificial intelligence is one such disruption within digital. Now, wherever there is a need for decision support to happen, it can be in any industry. It can be on manufacturing, it can be on public services, it can be on healthcare, it can be on transportation. You would start seeing artificial intelligence everywhere. So I would probably not say that what is going to be the big event that is going to actually make artificial intelligence boom. I personally feel artificial intelligence is going to be there. In the next 25 years, I expect to see artificial intelligence as a commodity platform. People will be buying artificial intelligence like they buy utilities today, like they buy water services today, right? Artificial intelligence will probably become a platform in the next 25 years where people will start using the solutions that are built on artificial intelligence as a utility, as a web utility or as a web services. Like we go to Amazon and buy a book today, right? Today, if you remember 10 years back, 12 years back, when Amazon actually came up with this online retail book mechanism, I remember it. They used to actually come up with, if you're buying this book, you would also be interested in these 5 books, right? Those days I used to feel enamored by it, to think, wow, how did they know that I like these kind of books? But that has now become business as usual for Amazon. And it has now become business as usual for me to expect, in not just in one particular website, but in every other online website that you're looking at. Artificial intelligence is going to be something similar. The big event is happening right now, and the event that, according to me, is happening is the paucity of resources, the limited quantity and quality of expert people that we have. And I spoke about in my keynote address, right, where we have these doctors who are not able to actually meet the demand for actually going and intervening with patients. Imagine if you have artificial intelligence which is actually helping them to meet more people so that they can intervene much ahead of time. So artificial intelligence is there already.
So basically, artificial intelligence could give something to human development.
Absolutely. That is one of Fujitsu's principles, that human-centric innovation. It is not about technology for the sake of technology. We need to deliver something which will deliver value to the common man, to the human being, and it is all about how we can enable technology to deliver absolute value to human beings, and that is what we call as human-centric innovation through digital co-creation.
Now we talk about security, cybersecurity. So we have this bigger attack of a week ago, and it's a clear signal that we need a more integrated solution. How can we avoid or limit such attacks?
So from a cyber perspective, the more you come up with interventions, the more people are going to become intelligent. Antisocial elements are going to become more intelligent to actually attack you more. So this is an ongoing journey that we need to be, who gets smarter than the other. So I don't think there is any one particular way of absolutely stopping a cyber attack ever. That is not possible. But there are ways and means of how we can avoid it, how we can minimize it. And that's exactly where companies like Fujitsu come into play, where we have a very clear mandate to see not just cybersecurity, but also physical security, right at the front end of actually a person engaging with a computer system? How can we physically stop the wrong person actually touching a laptop, for example? How can we physically stop a wrong person actually accessing a server room? Right from there to actually doing vulnerability testing, to actually helping customers on new threats that are coming in, and actually conducting what is called regular CISO audits, which we call as our Chief Information and Security Officer audits, we call it, to enable that enterprise security. So we actually provide consulting and professional services to help customers, besides providing ongoing security services to customers to deliver some very high-end security for some very, very high-end customers. And these are customers who are managing security of nations, I can tell you this.
So we need a European level strategy or international strategy. What do you see in this kind of strategy?
So I think it needs to be a multi-pronged strategy. It cannot be a single strategy which can actually solve the problems of the world. If there is one such silver bullet, I'm sure that silver bullet would have been fired by now. I think we need to have a country strategy. We need to, we need to have an enterprise, a personal strategy, a person strategy, a community strategy, a regional strategy, a country strategy, moving on to a European strategy, moving on to a multi-continental strategy and a global strategy. Because the threats levels are different. A threat level for a human being is very different to a threat level to a country. A threat level to a country is very different to a threat level to a region. A threat level to a region is very different to a global threat levels. And when it comes to the cyber world, while there are no boundaries for the cyber world, and there is every possibility that it can escalate pretty fast from being a regional threat level to a country threat level to a global threat level, I think there are already standards available. And the GDPR is probably one such thing which is actually going to enable enforcement of a lot of these guidelines for companies and for countries. For example, in GDPR, the penalties are becoming very heavy. It is becoming very strict. I know countries and nations are actually going to look at it very, very seriously and actually going to execute and implement on GDPR quite extensively. I think that's the first step. There is many more such steps that is needed. But as you would see, we had Sarbanes-Oxley come in for financial services, phase 1, and then they found a way around it to it. And then they came out with Sarbanes-Oxley 2. And then we came up with another framework called Basel 1. And then there was another framework which called Basel 2, right? So this is an ongoing, evolving exercise. You come up with something, antisocial elements would find an answer to it. So it is all about how fast you are and how agile you are and how ahead of any one of these threats you are. That's what is important. It is a process. It is an ongoing journey.